The world of aquatic expanses hides many mysteries, and only from time to time does it reveal them to us, bringing astonishing treasures to our shores. Today, I will tell you about the mysterious and horrifying findings discovered in the Sea of Salish. We'll discuss the eerie creature with feather-like tentacles washed ashore, as well as encounter a prototype of a fictional hero found in the sand. Get ready for an exciting tour through the list of amazing items washed up by the waves onto the shore. I invite you to a new adventure! Let me tell you about the first unusual discovery. Once, a couple was strolling along the coast of South Australia, and then, when they reached the mouth of the Murray River, they saw an impressive object. At first, people thought that this creature from the depths of the sea was a product of their imagination. However, as they approached it, it became clear to them that it was quite real. It turned out to be a huge moonfish. Unfortunately, it was already lifeless. Nevertheless, it is not surprising that they did not initially believe in its existence, because it did look strange indeed. Its unusual appearance was complemented by its remarkable size. Such deep-sea inhabitants are rarely found off the coast of South Australia. Despite their impressive dimensions, such fish are completely harmless to humans. They usually feed on plankton. Here are some mystical photos from the beach. Since 2007, reports have been coming in from the Salish Sea area about unusual findings, shoes with remnants of human feet inside. Since then, the Salish Sea has become a place of mysterious and frightening discoveries. This has caused shock and concern among local residents and has become a matter of interest for authorities and investigative agencies. Each new finding only heightened the concern and raised questions. Where do these strange items come from, and what do they symbolize? Various theories have emerged, but the answers remained a mystery. Residents have endured this emotional onslaught of fear and horror. Remembering each case of supernatural phenomenon sends a chill down the spine. It is said that there is some supernatural force or creature involved in all of this, sending these items ashore. Materializing shoes with human feet, it may be trying to remind us of its existence, warning us of potential danger. The search for the source of human remains found in the Salish Sea has proven to be very difficult, due to the possibility of floating items being moved over long distances by ocean currents. Additionally, under optimal conditions, human remains can persist in water for up to 30 years in the form of adipocere, further complicating their identification. Canadian writer Shane Lambert speculated that the unidentified feet could belong to victims of the Indian Ocean tsunami in December 2004. He points to strong northeast currents from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific at that time, as well as the fact that most of the victims' shoes were made in 2004 or earlier and were mainly sold in Asian countries. It is also possible that they fell victim of foul play, although no obvious signs of violence were found on the feet. Fear and concern envelop the Salish Sea. The mystery of shoes with human feet remains unsolved and will forever remain part of the mysteries of this enigmatic sea. And if in the USA they find feet on the shore, in Russia they found a bag with 27 pairs of hands, or simply 54 hands, depending on how you want to look at it. It was washed up on the Siberian shores of the icy Amur River. The bag of severed hands found by a fisherman, according to the Investigative Committee of Russia, was not of criminal origin, but it was disposed of in a manner not provided for by law. Medical equipment, bandages, and hospital shoes were found near the hands. Apparently, it is not uncommon for forensic laboratories to keep hands for some time after burying bodies to know the fingerprint information. But how they ended up in the Amur River remains a matter of speculation. The next finding was discovered by an American as he walked along the shoreline with his daughter in Washington state. He had a camera in his hands, and it was a stroke of luck, because on the path of the father and daughter, they encountered a giant log washed up on the shore. This tree is impossible to measure, but its size is truly astounding. In the photo is the photographer's daughter, who stands 6 feet tall. Authorities from the nearby Olympic National Park confirmed that trees of such size are indeed rare, despite the area being known for its large stands of trees. The tree was likely broken by strong winter winds, fell into the water, and ultimately washed up on the shore. However, according to scientists, to break such a huge tree, very strong winds are indeed necessary. Here's another woman, a professional wildlife photographer who has been wandering the coast of New Jersey for many decades, photographing the flora and fauna. And in 2018, she encountered something she had never seen in all her previous years. It was a remarkable creature washed ashore, round in shape, with graceful feather-like tentacles around the edges. There was something about its appearance reminiscent of a jellyfish. Several of these jellyfish was washed ashore nearby, causing quite a stir among local community. They are called blue buttons, and each of them is part of a colony of predators that track their prey. However, such creatures are rare in New Jersey because they inhabit far from these places. Scientists believe they were swept ashore by the current when Hurricane Florence raged in the area. Here's what the sea left on the beach in 2018. A creature was washed ashore in Georgia in the National Wildlife Refuge. These images divided the scientific community in half. Some supported the idea that an unknown species or unknown animal became unrecognizable due to decomposition. Other marine experts denied that this creature ever lived. The decomposition process was too flawless. There was no peeled skin, damaged limbs, or exposed internal organs. Therefore, the Loch Ness monster-like object was likely a hoax. If it was someone's idea to joke, they chose the perfect place. This area is inhabited by a mythical creature called the Altamaha monster. The photographs matched artistic depictions of this creature perfectly. However, the only thing that could shed light on this mystery, the body of the animal itself, disappeared without a trace. In 2019, a man and his son found funeral urns washed ashore in the Netherlands. The teenager who found the urns with his father thought they might contain drugs. Oh, these naive Dutch people. However, when he opened the container, he realized that it contained human ashes. All three urns were labeled, allowing their origin to be traced. Their owner was one of the crematoriums in Germany. German laws regarding the storage of human remains are very strict. Rarely do people get permission to keep the ashes of deceased relatives at home. Burial at sea is permitted if biodegradable materials were used for the urns. However, the found urns were made of aluminum. This sparked controversy. But one of the shipping companies clarified the situation. The found urns were aboard one of their ships. If everything had gone according to plan, the ashes would have been scattered overboard. But the company's employees accidentally dropped the urns into the water. The next unusual creature was found 5 miles from Old Portsmouth in England. A man walking along the beach noticed a floating body. He quickly dialed the police, but when they and Coast Guard arrived at the scene, they quickly realized that it was not a living creature at all. It was an exact replica of the infamous alien E.T. in full size. The model of the science fiction character belonged to a 76-year-old pensioner. It was handmade by her daughter 9 years before the incident. Then the alien model was stolen from the woman's home, along with some jewelry and an iron. Not a bad haul for professional school-age thieves. You can please your grandmother, girlfriend, and don't forget about yourself, a true science fiction enthusiast. Despite this tragic loss, the pensioner was sure that the alien would return home. And she was right, but unfortunately, when the large doll arrived home, it looked a bit worse for wear and lost a finger. Oh, you shameless juvenile thief! You're also a messy one! Nevertheless, its owner was more than happy to be reunited with her beloved alien. Usually, when researchers survey the coastline, they look for marine life or endangered bird species. But sometimes, they find truly unusual things, such as several creepy dolls. Could this be an international gang or some new youth challenge? According to researchers' reports, these dolls have been appearing on Texas beaches for many years. Most of them are found in a horrific condition, either covered in shells or without eyes, limbs, and hair. The director of the Texas University Reserve collected about 30 of these frightening dolls. The reserve even documented some of these beach finds on its local media pages, and there were people who expressed interest in acquiring them. But where did these dolls come from? It's not entirely clear. However, researchers stated that Texas beaches are a trash magnet due to the loop current that stretches from the Yucatan Peninsula to Florida. So, in the future, there may be even more dolls like these. If you're watching this, leave it tea to grandma. In Australia, a man stumbled upon a whale spine on a beach in nature reserve. The flesh had been removed from the mammal's spine, exposing several large bones. One scientific staffer at the Dolphin Research Institute speculated that the bones could have weighed around 22 pounds. He also stated that such remains are rarely found on land, making this discovery quite interesting. Authorities stated that they were aware of the find. Curious onlookers were not allowed to touch or remove any parts of the skeleton. Since whales are protected under Australian law, possessing any parts of them is illegal. Failure to comply with this requirement could even result in hefty fines. However, this warning may have been unnecessary, because, as it turns out, the discoverer was drawn to this find not by the small snake-like vertebrae, but by the truly putrid odor accompanying the carcass. Ghost ships have captured the imagination of enthusiasts of short stories whose aim is to scare the reader. They have existed since the time of the SS Orang Medan, a Dutch cargo ship that sank in the Malacca Strait. Under unexplained circumstances, its entire crew perished, and they continue to exist on the expanses of the internet. However, unlike scary campfire tales associated with them, ghost ships are a very real phenomenon. In 2016, an empty 200-foot oil tanker was washed ashore in Liberia, without any explanation for the accident and without a crew. Another incident occurred when a 580-foot container ship was washed ashore near the shores of Myanmar after being lost at sea for almost 10 years. Whether ghosts actually exist or not, ghost ships can still be the subject of discussion. This is an undeniable, harsh fact. Residents of Idaho were a little puzzled to see a rusty metal gaming die, measuring 6 by 6 feet, washed ashore. Despite the thick layer of rust, the white spots on the die were in perfect condition. Upon closer inspection, it became clear that someone had painted large white spots on an otherwise unremarkable service box. These are technical structures usually installed on docks, designed to provide water and electricity to moored vessels. This was confirmed by a local resident who had seen an old storage tank washed away by water several years ago. Previously, someone had painted white spots on it. Several strong rains and floods were enough to wash the giant die into the waves, only to return it to the shore later. Fans of the popular animated film Finding Nemo may remember the deep-sea fish with an electric light bulb on its head. Given how menacing it looked in the movie, you might have assumed that the fish was fictional. However, this creature, called an anglerfish, is very real, and it can be found in the dark depths of the oceans. This strange mammal usually inhabits depths of about 3,000 feet. It has a mouth full of nightmarishly sharp teeth and a protruding stalk on its head that emits light, helping to attract prey. Like most deep-sea inhabitants, this fish is rarely seen outside of its watery home. But in 2021, one such fish, still intact, was found washed ashore in a state park in California. It's unclear how it got there and why, but it is definitely a type of anglerfish, called the Pacific football fish. What's even more important is that these fish are rarely seen, but that doesn't mean they are rare in nature. On the contrary, they may be common at great depths, and we just don't know it. Many of us dream of finding treasure and getting rich in a day. Treasure hunters dive to the bottom of the sea to find treasures on sunken ships. However, every day the sea brings to the surface many items that delight people. And you, my friends, have the opportunity to delight yourselves and join our team. If you have video editing skills, can voice over videos in Russian, English, and other languages, or write interesting scripts, we'll be happy to work with you. Write to our Telegram bot, link in the description.